I'm not completely done with Rome 2 yet. I have a few more battles to upload. None more important than the battle between Achilles of the Aggony clan and Blademaster of the Wolf clan. This was in the Exploit Flash tournament, the last battle of the last tournament I hosted. And players could use the exploits in the game however they wanted to, no pull-through rules, and you could bring any unit from any faction you wanted using the multiplayer exploit. So fittingly enough, Achilles brought the Boii and Blademaster bought Tylis. You can see their builds here. Both of them just went no infantry, because both of them figured the other player would go for the standard heavy horse and stuff. So, just need to take a look at what's happened over here. Blademaster has written meta using Blademaster has written meta using his Tylis army, which, I mean, the battle couldn't have gotten a better start than what Blademaster gave it here. So let's see how things progress. Let's just fast forward. He's just going to stay in his meta formation. After this, the map Nemetocenna was renamed Nemetocenna, forever branded by Blademaster. So I don't think do I need to go over the builds? Okay, we can pretend this is a serious battle and I can go over the builds. For Blademaster we have 2 Thracian warriors on each flank, a total of 4. In the center he has sword followers, backed up by Levy Freeman and... ooh, it was glorious to say Levy Freeman again, it's been too long. Backed up by a general, and he is a strategist general. Bold choice there by Blademaster. He also has some tribal warriors. Very, very peculiar choice there. For Aggony Achilles, we have Levy Freeman up front, a very bold choice, not something you see a lot of players do in Rome 2. On his flanks, he has the very risky choice of sword followers, backed up by an Oathsworn in the center, and he has more tribal warriors and sword followers. So, Aggony Achilles, being able to bring any unit from any faction he would want to, has brought tribals and sword followers, 2 of the most cost-effective sword units in the game. And Achilles is also writing something here. Let's see what Achilles is writing. Achilles is writing Aggony. He's writing Aggony, his clan name. So at this point I think Blademaster should just attack him and be a complete dickbag, but he's not going to. He's going to be a very honorable spammer. So Aggony is written by Achilles here. But now he's going to move and Blademaster is going to start moving. So I'll just keep it on fast forward until something happens. And at this point, I gave Blademaster and Achilles the challenge of sending all of their Levy Freemen in the center to see which Levy Freemen were stronger, the Levy Freemen of the Boii or the Levy Freemen of Tylis. However, it was not to be. Blademaster took the challenge like the honorable man he is. However, Achilles did not. Very dishonorable. So we have Blademaster moving up in spaghetti lines. I mean, this could not get more meta. We have Nemetocenna, we have only melee infantry on the field, not a single cavalry unit, and Boii versus Tylis. Just pure bliss. This is the perfect end. And yes, Attila was refreshing for a little while because of the lack of infantry spam. However, the creative assembly, exchanging infantry spam with cavalry spam isn't really progress now, is it? The infantry is just there, like the cavalry was there, almost like an afterthought with many builds in Rome 2. Sure, they were necessary. Cavalry was necessary to have the to have mobility, to take down skirmishers, to block charges, and rare charges, of course. But but battles were won by the player who could bring the most cost-effective infantry, and the combination, it was specifically the combination of cost-effective mid-tier swords to defeat infantry and dirt cheap spears in the form of levy freemen to defeat cavalry and blunt charges. That combination was just too strong for most factions and builds to deal with. And that's why Boii and Tylis just rose up to be the strongest factions. And here we have a bit of levy freemen skirmishing. These guys are attacked in the rear. These guys are fighting. Not attacked in the rear. But Achilles is being dishonorable here by sending in reinforcements. Sending in tribal warriors. The levy freemen of Achilles were much more pussy-like than the levy freemen of Achilles, so they needed a bit of help from their tribal friends here. Few javelins. So while this is going on, Blademaster is pushing up his sword followers. He's also being very ballsy here on the flanks with his Celtic warriors. Starting to surround the sword box of Achilles is Blademaster. Blademaster just waiting until the levy freeman engagements are done. Here we have a bit of a weird engagement. The levy freemen throwing javelins, actually doing some damage to the sword followers, and then they're going to rush into this engagement. So definitely not a bad use of levy freemen there from Achilles. So Blademaster is going to send in his sword followers here to try and save his levy freeman there, but it's a bit too late. He is going to do some damage though. Sword followers here crashing into both levy freemen and tribals. The tribal warriors just didn't manage to escape there. They got attacked in the rear, but Achilles is following up with charges from his tribal warriors. Blademaster about to complete the surround here. This unit of Celtic warriors could be very, very dangerous against an engaged enemy. And Blademaster being very economical with his engagements. Achilles content to stay on the defensive, while Blademaster is sending in one unit at a time, buying himself the time to move around. And this, of course, means that Achilles can't just engage in one direction. He has to keep a holding force in the center here. So nicely done there by Blademaster. And now Achilles is pouring in the units. The sword followers of Blademaster are taking a beating. Nice charge here, but only into the tribals and to the levy freemen. Here we have tribal warriors just getting surrounded by a bunch of units. Over here as well, a clusterfuck of a battle is about to develop here. Here we have two tribals up against Thracians, double Thracians. Having Thracians bunched up like this, not the best of ideas. How the Celtics manage to get into the tribals here, but as that is happening, the sword followers are going to start pouring into the tribals. Now, this is just a Celtic slugfest, but this is basically what Rome 2 deteriorated into. It deteriorated into infantry slugfests, and while there are, of course, ways of making infantry slugfests interesting, and there are several aspects to infantry slugfests, that is not exactly the case with this infantry slugfest. This is just an infantry slugfest. There have been many masterful displays of infantry combat by several players here, but this is a slugfest. This is a straight up slugfest. Aside from the brilliant clan names and meta tag at the beginning of the battle. So now it's just a matter of who has the best infantry, who is able to get the best engagements, and thus far Blademaster doing a good job here, pulling out his guys in this engagement. He doesn't really need his units there, he might need them over here. Thracian warriors could do a lot of damage to sword followers. These Celtic warriors are pulling out, the Thracian warriors are fighting sword followers, and they're going to lose that engagement because they do not have melee defense, and they die very easily. Here we have the Thracians getting a very nice charge here on the sword followers, This is almost like the charge of Thracian warriors, almost like a cavalry charge in the amount of casualties it can cause. And they keep following here, and Achilles is pulling away with his sword followers, but he lost a significant amount of men there. I think it would have been a better idea to just stand and fight. In barbarian engagements, of course, the general is very, very important, and both the generals are fine. The general of Achilles is attacked in the rear currently. And over here we have clusterfuck of infantry again. Turning around here is Achilles with his tribals to stop from being attacked in the rear, which is a good job. His tribals are just going to die anyway, but at least that prolonged things a bit. Blademaster doing something nice here, making his formation more narrow, so he can move through the gap and attack the tribal warriors there. Units routing on both sides. These slugfests take quite a bit of time. Sword followers here are going to die. Let's see when the general charges here. Javelins straight to the face. And yeah, this is it's extremely tough to call at this point. Of course, I know the outcome, but in this, it looks very good for Achilles at this point. But one mistake, and it could turn around. It's just that these infantry slugfests are very low intensity. Things happen slowly. So, like a massive mistake would be to like turn around all of your guys and have them get attacked in the rear simultaneously, pulling out units at disadvantageous times. That would be massive mistakes. Getting your general killed. But over here, Blademaster has a few units free. Achilles just attacked these tribal warriors that were losing anyway. And now Blademaster might be able to surround the general of Achilles here. He's pulling out his tribals are losing men. And instead of... No, it looks like Achilles is pulling his men around here instead to support his general's fight. But the general of Achilles is starting to die, although he's winning decisively. Blademaster has a lot of free units, dangerous free units. The sword followers are charging into the back of the tribals. The very shaky morale of the tribals is probably going to mean that this unit is going to start routing. Tribals here, routing. So now we have 2 units of Achilles being in very dangerous positions. This unit is in a dangerous position for Blademaster, and this unit is in a dangerous position for Blademaster. So this is just super close here. But the tribal warriors shatter now. This is going to free up more units for Blademaster to pour into the melee. These sword followers are holding. They have great morale, but now they shattered. Here comes the Celtic warriors into the sword followers. Turning around his general is Blademaster, and he gets a nice sandwich going here. Celtic warriors and Oathsworn up against sword followers, and the sword followers just disappear under the onslaught of the Oathsworn. The Oathsworn general of Achilles is throwing javelins and then supporting the fight here. But again, Blademaster having more units free than Achilles, so he's able to send them into the back of the sword followers here while they are winning. And they should be they're losing now. And very nicely done here by Blademaster in just charging in and pulling back out. Cycle charging with his infantry in essence. Let's see, 85 men left in the unit, 87. So Blademaster's Oathsworn have lost more men. But Blademaster is doing a very good job here in rear charging the Oathsworn and inflicting penalties on all these units. So Achilles pulls out of this engagement, but now Blademaster is pulling back in here and managing to catch this unit out of position and attack them in the rear. So the Oathsworn general of Blademaster, he's actually pulling out now. Let's see if he loses any men. No, he does not. So nicely done there. And cycle charging now is Blademaster against the Oathsworn of Achilles. Let's just fast forward at this point, because it's just going to be a slugfest between these two units. Might be a few cycle charges here and there, but second wind being popped by Blademaster. Sword followers charging in, but the general of Achilles just recently died. And that is game. The last game of the last tournament, Blademaster won the Exploit Flash tournament. Congratulations to him. I thought it was awesome to see so many cool things happen in this battle. Blademaster writing meta on the field, having a unit of Levy Freeman for Achilles with 140 kills, very nice. Several melee units getting close to 300 kills here, and it's very, very nice. And just look at how similar these armies are in composition. And we have sword followers, we have tribals, and a few other units thrown in for good measure. So that's what Rome 2 devolved into. Sure, heavy horse was very important, but it was always going to be about the Levy Freeman and the cost-effective mid-tier sword units. So thanks to all the players who participated in the Exploit Flash tournament. By far my favorite game of the Exploit Flash. Strength and honor.